understand the difference between buying wealth and building wealth. So what we're going to go over is something called the number one asset. And I'm going to reveal to you that your home ain't really your number one asset. I'm not saying that a home can't be an asset, right? Robert Kiyosaki may even argue that it is an asset at all, because if you look at the definition of asset and liability, an asset is something that puts money in your pocket. A liability is something that takes money from your pocket. And if you're paying a mortgage, if you're paying maintenance, if you're paying utilities, if you're paying upkeep for a house, even if you are in the process of buying it, that's still taking money from your pocket every month. So there's a debate whether or not a home could even be a liability. But I'll tell you this, there's something you can put in your home that can be very, very lucrative as an asset, and you could build wealth versus buying wealth. So let's talk about the thing that I like to talk about probably more than anything else, and that is the power of the home-based business. See, in this country, the number one wealth building tool in the entire world is United States tax code. The reason people will put their life and limbs at risk to come here is because they know that. Problem with us in America, we take that for granted, and so many times we are actually fighting Uncle Sam when wealthy people have learned to partner with Uncle Sam. We cuss Uncle Sam. Wealthy people put Uncle Sam to work for them. And here's how they do it. I want you to think about something. You got a certain number of expenses, bills, and things that you're going to pay whether you have a home-based business or not. Let me show you the power of having a home-based business and why this is potentially the number one asset that a working class person could own. So on the far left, we have a list of utilities or bills 1 through 6, right? These bills you're going to pay whether you have a home-based business or not, point blank, period. But I would like to suggest that why not make these bills tax deductible when you add a home-based business to whatever it is that you're doing, right? So let's say that you have a mortgage of $1,000 per month. And then if you're like me, I have this space where I shoot my show at in the mornings and I do my webinars and stuff, small little space. So part of this space is part of my living space. So a percentage of my mortgage becomes tax deductible. I do some of my athletic training in my basement, so I have some of my equipment down there. So let's say 20% of my mortgage is tax deductible because I'm using 20% of my living space as part of my business, right? So 20% of $1,000 is going to come out to be $200. So I'm just going to plug in $200 here. So that's $200 per month. And then naturally, if we did that over 12 months, then that's going to be $2,400 per month that I'm getting a tax write-off simply for having a business in my home. Right now, we're looking at the utilities. I live in a house, so that means I'm going to have a light bill. I don't have gas running to this house, so the whole house is electric. So we have electric bill, but we also have a water bill. We have trash bill. We have so when you look at all of the utilities for your home, because I run my business from my home, then 20% of my utilities are tax deductible. So now my utilities at $500 a month, 20% of 500 is 100. So $100 of that is tax deductible. If I multiply that by 12, then we're looking at $1,200 in tax deductions for my utilities. Now, my cell phone bill, again, these are bills I'm going to pay whether I have a business or not. I might as well run a business from my home and make this cell phone bill partially tax deductible. Now, I don't use all of my cell phone for business because I do have a wife and she will call to check on her brother from time to time. So that's a personal call. So I can't write off 100% of my lifestyle, my cell phone bill, but 85% of the time I'm on my phone for business. If my bill is $100 per month, then that means $85 of my bill is a tax write-off each and every month. If I multiply that by 12, that's going to come to $1,020 for the year. Now, I don't know if you guys are paying attention, but you could see now that the tax deduction column is starting to add up. It's starting to look pretty sweet. Well, guess what? I put about 10,000 miles per year on my car for business, probably 30 to 35,000 miles altogether, because I'm a youth basketball trainer. So I'm going to promote my business. I'm going to tournaments out of town and all kinds of stuff. So I'm putting miles on my vehicle for business. Now, at the time of we produced this document, the rate per mile is 56 cents per mile. It might be up to about 58 cents per mile, but let's just stick with 56 cents per mile. 10,000 miles I put on my vehicle for business at 56 cents. That's going to bring my mileage deduction to $5,600. See, it's starting to look pretty sweet just because I have a business in my home and I'm using my personal home and my personal vehicle for business. Now, how about meals and entertainment? From time to time, I take my employees out to entertainment. We might go to Sky Zone for some team building stuff. And you guys know my employees, right? Right? My employees are my children. Yes, they work for me. They don't get an allowance. They earn a paycheck for putting in work, right? I have equipment that I have to move from my basement to the gyms where we go train. And those activities, or that's part of their job. And they get a salary for that. So that's a tax write-off. So, but from time to time, we have meals and entertainment. So if I entertain and feed us for business, $200 per month, we can't write off every meal, but we can write off about 50% of those meals. So that's right at $100. If we write off 50% of the $200 per month, that would be $100 per month. And then again, if we did that, times 12, then we're talking about $1,200 per year. Now, my internet service, yeah, my whole internet service, I only use internet in my house for business, right? So $50 a month for internet, and that's being very conservative. You can't get no high speed for $50 a month, but let's just use that. We're going to keep that for the sake of this example. $50 per month, 100% of that is a tax write-off. So for the month, it's $50, and then for the year, it is $600. So $600 for the year. Now that gives me a total of $12,020. Let me put my comment in there. $12,020 in tax write-offs. And notice I didn't even put the $6,000 per year per kid that I can pay my children. We just excluded some of the deductions, but there's other deductions. There's supplies that I have to buy for my office. There's equipment that I have to get and replace. Basketballs have to be replaced, and things break on some of my training equipment has to be replaced. But let's just keep it here for right now. Now, what I'm going to do though is I'm going to round this down to an even 12,000. So I'm going to plug that in right here. Any dog lovers out there? I know you guys can hear my dog going crazy, and my kids haven't gone to check. There could be somebody trying to get into my yard or something. No, my neighbor's got chickens next door, so he might be trying to get at them chickens over there. But so we're going to round that down to $12,000, right? Because I like to work with whole numbers. I never was that great at math, right? But we got a whole number. So here's what you have to understand about the tax code. Guys, this $12,000 that I spent on this stuff, if I didn't have a business, I was going to spend that $12,000 anyway. But here's the difference. If I spent it on the stuff without the business, that $12,000 would have been taxed at about 30%. So because I have a business, then that saves me about $3,600. $3,600 I save and I'm able to keep in my pocket because I'm not taxed $12,000, because that $12,000 is not a part of my realized income. That $12,000 were shifted through my business, right? Now, that's just me having a business and running it from my home. I haven't made any money in the business yet, but we're about to. So just say whatever business that you're in, you're finally starting to be a little bit profitable. You got some income coming in. So now the income that we're going to say that you have coming in from your business is, I thought I put my box here. So we're going to say it's $200 per month. So in other words, you have about $2,400. $2,400 coming in every year for your business. Now, so if you look at the total amount that you saved in tax income because you were able to shift part of your money through your business, so instead of being taxed an additional $12,000, you actually kept $3,600 in your pocket. If you add those two together, then I'm not a genius, but I know 36 and 24 is going to come out to $6,000 even, right? So between the tax write-offs and the business income I produce in my business, or for having a home-based business, $6,000. Now, we're talking about building wealth versus buying wealth. Now, what would I have to have in the bank if I were buying wealth to get to produce an annual income of $6,000? If I had this money in a savings account, in order to generate $6,000 at 1%, that means I would need to have $600,000 in a bank account at 1%. Now, some of you guys may be saying, that's silly. There's no way I would just have $6,000 sitting in a regular bank account. So maybe you have it in some money markets or some investments or some annuities, and it's gaining you 3%. So in order to generate $6,000 of income at 3%, you still need a whopping $200,000 in an investment account at 3% to get you $6,000 per year, right? And then some of you guys are still saying, okay, but what if I earn a little bit better rates? I'm a savvy investor. I can average about 6%. That's cool, but to make a 6%, a $6,000 return on your investment at 6% will require you to have $100,000 in your account at 6% to generate $6,000. But then you always have to account for two things when you're talking about investments: taxes and inflation, and taxes come first, right? So that's still not an equivalent of 6,000 because you still got to deal with taxes at some point. You still got to deal with inflation at some point. Well, guess what, man? For a measly $199.95, you could have started your own home-based business and put yourself in position to generate a $6,000 combined income from what you saved in taxes plus what you can produce in your business. So now you guys see why we're talking about your number one asset not being a home, but more so being a home-based business. So for us, your home biz is your number one asset, which allows you to strategize your way to wealth.